All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda Campbell. I am the president of Fairfax County SEPTA for the 22-23 school year. Welcome to, I guess this is technically our second general membership meeting of the year, but it's really the first one with a whole lot of business at the front of it, a whole lot of PTA business at the front. The last time we focused more primarily on our visit with Dr. Reed, which was a fantastic success. And I highly recommend that anybody go check out the recording on our YouTube page, as it was very informative and a very great introduction to Dr. Reed. We're looking forward to working with her moving forward. So calling to order at about 6:57. We do have quorum as I've looked through the membership. Are there any, let me screen share the agenda.
Amanda, is there anybody in the waiting room? Because somebody just texted me that they're in the waiting room.
Not that I can see.
Okay.
And Lauren and Kate are going to be on letting in from the waiting room as co-hosts. They can see and let everybody in as well. Let me screen share the agenda. Just a brief look through our agenda. We've got some officer reports, board reports. We have 3 votes tonight: the financial review, the proposed budget for this year, and the proposed advocacy priorities. After which we will adjourn the business meeting and go into our presentation by Beth Felsen. Does anybody have any corrections to the agenda as listed here?
No, I'm accept the agenda as presented.
Seeing none, we accept the agenda as is. Thank you, Sherry. I was trying to figure out how to see people while I was screen sharing that. So always a fun thing. And first things first, we would like to just get throughout this year, we would like to get an idea of who is at our meetings and the community that we are reaching. So I'm going to launch a poll that's largely a demographics poll. If you could take a few moments to fill that out, I would really appreciate that. This will help our session. Did the poll launch? And somebody, it did? Okay, because I'm not, it's saying I'm logged in from another device and my polling session is inactive, which is a weird message. But as it was saying, this information will help us with our Family School Partnerships Challenge Grant work this year. So thank you very much for sharing this with us. If one of our board members could kind of give me a heads up as to, because I can no longer see anything on this side, so I can't see how many responses we've gotten. So if you can give me an idea, heads
Amanda,
up.
Just so you know, the last question, it's a required question, but there's not an option to say like, yes, I live in Virginia and work, or my children attend SCPS.
Okay.
So just FYI.
We'll update that for next time. Answer as best you can right now. And we will make that adjustment for next time. Thank you. All right. Has there been enough time to answer, Lauren?
Actually, it doesn't look like you can submit without answering all the questions. So
right.
The final question is going to be a little off. That's
fine. That one is a little less important in our work than the rest of them. So if there's not an answer, just pick one for the moment so it can submit. And we'll take that into account for the next meeting, and we'll not really count that information for this poll.
Amanda, 2/3 of participants have completed it so far.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you can see it. All right, well then, Lauren, can you lead the, closing it out? Because I cannot see anything.
And I have closed it and I'm now sharing the results just for everybody to take a look. I think that each of you can scroll down to see all of the answers. You don't have to see it where I am looking at, but let me know if that is not true. And I can stop sharing this, Amanda, if it's intended really for later purposes.
I think it's more intended for us, so it's not showing on my screen. So yeah, I think let's move on, and I'll give my fast report. I mentioned the Family School Partnerships Challenge Grant with National PTA. This is work that we are continuing from last year. We were one of the 5 PTAs in the country doing the pilot program last year. And this year we are doing it in coordination with Fairfax County Council PTA. We are partners splitting the grant. So we had our first full meeting last week, our orientation earlier this month. We have our first full meeting tomorrow night. There's going to be a live webinar on November 17th with National PTA to go over the updates to the national standards that they are making based off of the work that we did last year. So I invite you to all join us for that. And we should have some more, as that date gets closer, we should have some more to share with you. I also want to let you know that for those of you who might be aware, there was a bill passed in the Senate and General Assembly this year called SB 36 that now requires that school personnel report misdemeanors to the police along with felonies. This is a little bit of a change, and we were contacted over the summer with concerns about implementation and how that would impact students with disabilities, given the already disproportionate impact that discipline practices have on students with disabilities. So we requested a meeting with FCPS leadership, and we have a meeting later this month, and we will hope to be able to share an update about that soon after. And then on Monday, our advocacy committee sent out a link to surveys for families and staff. Please take a look in your emails for that and fill out the survey as soon as you can. That will be very helpful in our advocacy work going forward this year. And Michelle, you can share more about that in a little bit if you like. And I also want to quickly announce that we do have a new member of our board as of this evening. Our outreach co-chair is going to be Karen Winston. She is a learning disabilities teacher at Sandburg Middle School in Alexandria, and we are very excited to have her join the team. So thank you, Karen, and we look forward to connecting with you and working forward to help that outreach effort the rest of this year. Rebecca, do we have a treasurer's report for this month?
Hi, yes, good evening, everyone. So just a quick verbal one going through the month close of August. So at the end of August, we had $11,598.02 in our bank account. There were no transactions in July, and then during August, we had income totaling $1,244, of which $804 was membership dues and $440 were donations, including private donations and then the donation portion of the superhero memberships. Our expenditures for July and August totaled $37.94. We did have one check clear, sorry, and that was for credit card transaction fees. We did have one check clear that was from the previous year's budget for $360.17. And we still have $598.25 worth of checks that we anticipate to be cashed within the next month. So that leaves us with a working balance of just under $11,000. So $10,999.77. That's it.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for either Rebecca or myself? All right, seeing none, let's move on to our board reports. Rich Hem, I was unsure if he was going to be able to make it this evening, and I don't see him on the list. So I will go ahead and announce our mini grants. Our teacher mini grants are open to any FCPS staff member. You do need to be a member of SEPTA. The SEPTA dues for teachers are $6, and you can join at fcsepta.ptboard.com. If our comms people can share the link in the chat, that would be great. They are up to usually about $500 per person. We will give out on a rolling basis, but the first application deadline is October 15th. So please take a look at that application and get that in as soon as possible, because we would love to help our teachers. It's one of our favorite things to do, and what your membership fees go to help fund. So we can help teachers and our students across the county meet their needs so that they can reach their potential. So we invite you to participate in that. And then Stephanie, do you have a report on reflections for us?
I do. I apologize. We are going to participate in Reflections this year, which is an art program that's run by National PTA. You can see here the theme this year is Show Your Voice, and it includes your student could present anything from dance choreography, film production, literature, music composition, photography, visual arts, and we will have a portal to collect all those. The deadline for submissions will be October 28th, and we will be sending out a request if anyone would like to join a committee to judge, and we'll decide on what our presentation to Fairfax County Council PTA will be sent off in November. So you can see my email there as secretary, and please feel free to let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And we have had in the past SEPTA students who have gone on to get national PTA recognition for their entries. So we really do encourage everybody to consider entering Reflections through us. It is one of our great joys to be able to celebrate our students, and those that we celebrate will also be invited to our award ceremony in the spring to be recognized there as well. So please spread the word that this is an option, especially if you are at schools that do not have PTAs or do not have PTAs that participate in Reflections. That's what we're here for. We are considered a local unit, so you can apply through us, and then it'll go on to the county from our judging. The winners will then go on to the county, and then go on to the state, and then go on to national from there. So please help us spread that word. We would love to have lots of entries to judge. And next up, Allie, do you have a ACSD update for us?
Yes. Hi. So I'm Allie. I know you can see my name on my tile here, but I fill SEPTA's representative seat for the ACSD, which is the Advisory Committee for Students with Disabilities, which Virginia requires all school divisions to have such a committee to review policies and procedures for the provision of special education and advise on unmet needs. For more information, you'll find us by Googling FCPS ACSD. I'm sure someone can drop the link to the ACSD in the chat for those who might be new to. I saw a lot of names I didn't recognize, lots of participants tonight, yay. So that might be new to some people, the concept of the ACSD. So it is a place, I wanted to note that we have 10, so we're just starting the school year. There's a new ACSD with each school year. It's a one-year term. We have 10 vacancies right now. We lost one, by the way, for my fellow that we had someone resign already. So we had 9 vacancies and now have 10. If you might be interested in serving on the ACSD, on the website, there is an interest form. If you submit it, it will show your willingness to serve. They still need to be appointed. The ACSD is a place to submit your public testimony on division-wide special ed issues. Public testimony is vital to help the committee identify the unmet needs of special ed students. And to note, the Department of Special Services staff, lots of staff regularly attend ACSD meetings like Dr. Boyd, Mike Bloom, and Don Schaefer, and Laura Jane Cohen, who is our ACSD school board liaison for the 2nd year in a row, also attends. And all those people, if you go and give testimony, are there right there to hear your testimony. And Mike Bloom told us at the last meeting that he often tries to follow up with people, and we've seen that he does, who give testimony. You might get an audience with Mike Bloom to hear more about your problem. At our last meeting on September 14th, we reviewed proposed changes to the IEP, and our committee will be providing more feedback to that. If you are a paid SEPTA member, you received an email from me describing the changes and requesting your questions and comments, which will be submitted to DSS with the ACSD feedback. Because I represent you, I will take your comments and questions forward for answers. Our next meeting is October 12th. Look for more discussion on IEP changes, discussion on the AIR final report of the independent special education audit, and the ACSD should also soon be weighing in on the school board's legislative agenda. If you'd like to make public comment at this upcoming October 12th meeting, find more info on the webpage, and remember the deadline for pre-recorded and written testimonies is 5 p.m. the night before, so that would be Tuesday, October 11th. That's the end of my.
Thank you, Allie. Can you put the email for public comment in the chat, please? It's acsdchair@fcps.edu for those listening to this after the fact. All right. And then Michelle, do you want to share a little bit more about the parent and staff surveys that were going out?
Sure. Thanks so much. I'm going to put those links in the chat as well. Hopefully those, oh, they didn't link. Well, copy and paste. There they are. Our advocacy committee is putting out 2 surveys, one for family and one for staff. We're looking to gather a lot of information, both in terms of demographics, top issues that are of concern in terms of where you would like to see us advocating. And my dog always barks when it's my turn, I'm sorry. And also looking to expand our public participation in our advocacy work. Oh, thank you, Amanda. So please take a few minutes to fill out these surveys. They are anonymous unless you choose to give us your information because you want us to follow up with you or connect you with other people who have similar interests. And that's that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for any of the chairs who just shared? Seeing none, let's move on to our new business. Rebecca, you are up first with a presentation of the 21-22 financial review.
Great, thanks. So the financial review is a required review of the previous year's documents, the PTA documents, financial documents, and it has to be done by the end of August each year in order to remain in good standing as a PTA and to remain in compliance. So this year, the audit was conducted in August for the July to June 2021-2022 school year. It was conducted by Stephanie Smith, Ali Baldassari, and Lenora Gums. And through the review, they found that the books were in good order and found to be correct. There were 2 areas that were commented on. The first one was that the transaction register did not have a running balance. So the treasurer should keep a running tally throughout the year and keep a register. And then also the format of the review was a little bit different than how our books were kept. So once the 2021 expenses that had cleared, 2021 expenses that had cleared during the current year, so the 2021-2022 school year, once those were added in, the books were balanced and reconciled. So that's just something we need to keep in mind in the future. So the financial review was submitted to the Virginia PTA and approved, keeping our PTA in compliance. That's it.
Thank you very much. So there was a bit of a change in the Virginia PTA bylaws this year in that we are required to submit the audit to Virginia PTA by August 1, which is obviously before we can have it presented to the membership. But we do still need to present it to the membership for a vote to be adopted. As if there are any reasons that our membership doesn't vote to adopt it, we then need to inform Virginia PTA and take steps from there. So I am about to launch a poll and I hope I'm going to be able to see this one. And if I can't, Lauren, if you could please take over, that would be great. I need somebody to make the motion to adopt.
I move we adopt.
Thank you. Stephanie, is there a second?
I'll second.
That was Michelle for Stephanie's records. So Stephanie motion, Michelle second. Would either of you like to speak to your motion? Nope. Okay. Launching the poll. Each poll that you will see tonight does ask you if you are a current paid SEPTA member. If you were a member in 21-22, you are currently still a paid member through September 30th, 2022. So if you were a member last year, you can still vote. Please keep that in mind. Each question, each poll will ask you if you are a paid SEPTA member. That is just so that it makes it easier on our end when because the officers and I will go back and look through and just ensure that we have the votes that are from members. Just double check and dot our I's and cross our T's. So here we go with the poll. Oh, maybe not. Lauren, I still can't see it. Can you launch it?
It allows me to relaunch the previous poll.
Can you try going to more? I may have to make you host. Is there a
see it.
polls thing under more?
Amanda, I see it.
Can you do it? If you can launch it, they should be labeled by date and have the label, this is the audit vote or the financial review vote.
Okay.
Somebody let me know that it's launched. Kate, I'm going to let you control how long it's open for then, if you can see it. And yes, anybody who is a co-host, please put your vote in the chat because none of us can see the polls. So I'm also going to put my own vote in the chat.
Okay, it looks like 85% of the people voted.
Okay.
Go ahead and end polling.
Did it pass? What were the results?
Yes, it passed. 22 voted in favor, 0 opposed, 2 abstained.
Okay. Thank you all very much. That is very helpful. We will now, Rebecca, can you present? Well, we're not going to fully present the proposed budget because we did present it at the meeting in August. And it has been up on our website. But if there are any updates you have, Rebecca, or just a quick summary of what's there and the line item of the scholarships.
Yep. So I just posted a link to the budget in the chat. If you want, I can share my screen really quick just to put it up there. Sorry. Okay. Can you guys see it? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So really quick, we have expected income of $10,700 plus using our reserve contribution of $4,000, which is essentially using some of our savings to make it balanced so that our expenses and our income match. And that income comes from membership dues, donations, fundraising, and the grants that we have. And then for our expenses, again, it matches our income. So we expect $14,768 worth of expenses. These are based on looking at previous years, but also recognizing that the past couple previous years may have been a little bit different given the pandemic, and also in discussions with our committee chairs and board members on amounts that we expect to spend. There's one amendment from, I think what was posted is events and programming. We increased it by $500. And then the biggest new line for the budget is the memberships for financial hardships. So this we decided to put into place this year, which is essentially 25 memberships that we would offer to our members those that may be on free or reduced meals or just having financial trouble. So those will be there in PT board that can be used. So we hope that that helps some people join who are not able to join. And just our memberships are $20 for parents, $6 for teachers, but we're only for these memberships, it's the cost of what we pay to National PTA, Virginia PTA, and then the Fairfax County Council of PTAs. So that's $4. So that's how we get to that 25 number from 100. Any questions on the budget? I know that was a quick review.
Feel free to raise hands or unmute if there are questions. All right. Seeing none, I need someone to make a motion to adopt the proposed budget.
A motion to adopt the budget.
Kate, I'm hold motions. I need a second.
Second again.
Michelle's seconding. Do either of you wish to speak to your motion? Nope. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Kate, launch the poll, please.
It's launched.
Okay. And remember, co-hosts, please put your votes in the chat.
Okay, 80% of the members voted. I will share the results. 20 voted in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstained.
Okay. So with those numbers, the budget passes. Thank you very much. And let us move on to the proposed advocacy priorities position statement. Just as a quick overview before Michelle takes the stage to give some updates. This advocacy priority statement is it's a position statement for us at the beginning of each year to help us be able to advocate on sometimes things are a fast turnaround time in terms of how quickly we need to respond. And so this statement gives us the ability to do so with member input, which is obviously important to us to make sure that we are representing your views. And there have been some updates to this position statement made since the last meeting, and I'm going to let Michelle cover what those are based on member input.
Great, thanks, Amanda. I went ahead and shared, and I'll scroll down in a moment. I am not going to read this whole thing to everybody because it is pretty lengthy. We really tried to cover as many topics as we anticipated would come up, although there's always more. Having shared it in our previous meeting, I just want to scroll down to mention the changes that we added to it. They were 2 points, which are now on the screen. One was in terms of accessibility. We added that we wanted to be sure that there was access for facilities, including but not limited to parking during high traffic times, emergency plans, playgrounds, school buildings, etc. And also we added a piece on homebound and home-based services that we want to be able to be advocating for students who are in those programs. This is on our website. I'm going to stop screen sharing and put in the link to, there it is. Okay, so you're welcome to check it out, but otherwise it has not changed from our last meeting. Does anybody have any questions about our advocacy work? We encourage everyone to join into advocacy, into our committee. We're going to be scheduling a meeting down the road a little bit, but your voice is powerful.
Michelle,
Any
can you
questions?
briefly cover the main bullet points, like not the detailed ones, but just like the main headers?
Sure, absolutely. Bear with me for 1 second here because my eyes are old. Do you want me to screen share it again? Sorry. Technology. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can see it all right. So yes, the main bullets are literacy, which we're continuing from, many of these are continuations from previous years. So continuing with literacy, restraint and seclusion, health and well-being, reviewing the AIR audit study, which Ali had mentioned, looking at IEE reform. IEE is independent educational evaluation, IEP reform and parental rights, looking at adapted curriculum, school year and ESY readiness, staff equity and support, accessibility, as I had mentioned, with curricula, materials, and facilities, and homebound and home-based services. And those are all on a local level. On our state level, we have disproportionate discipline and criminalization of students with disabilities, which also ties in with what Amanda mentioned earlier with the new legislation at the state level. Minimizing large age ranges in self-contained classrooms, improving gen ed teacher training regarding accessibility, literacy, and instruction. Instructing students with disabilities in inclusive settings. Again, IEE reform and continued dyslexia and literacy requirements. And I see that there's a question. Let me stop the share. Okay, question. What is the deadline to give feedback or thoughts about the AIR report before it's presented to the school board? The changes to the IEP structure without notifying parents is worrying. Good question. So the AIR audit is done. They've collected all of their data. They held lots and lots of listening sessions and focus groups and reviewed hundreds of IEPs. So the AIR study, the results are going to be presented, I believe, next month, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. But the issue about potentially changing the IEP structure is something that is predominantly going through the ACSD right now that Ali was talking about. And procedurally, that is certainly a concern, is that any changes to policy that's going to directly impact students or staff needs to run through the ACSD. The ACSD may not approve or support, rather, any of these changes, but they can only make recommendations to the school board, and then the school board makes the final decisions. So if that process is circumvented, which is what I think you're describing in the question there, yes, that's absolutely a concern. So that's something we're looking at. I hope that answers your question.
Michelle, if I can just add a little context also. Yep. My understanding is that the final AIR report is going to be posted to board docs on September 23rd. So there will be an opportunity for the public to review and provide questions to your school board member before that work session on October 4th. I believe the work session is slated to begin at 10 a.m. on October 4th. The earlier that you get feedback to your school board member, the better. They are inundated. So giving them time to be able to read your thoughts and your questions is really helpful. If you have questions or concerns regarding the IEP changes that were proposed and discussed at ACSD, please take a moment to email Ali Baldassari. She's our ACSD liaison. She is collecting questions. ACSD this year and last year, they collect what's called questions for the record that are collected outside of the meeting itself and submitted to FCPS leadership for them to answer in writing at a later date. So please send any questions that you have to Ali. We need to have those to ACSD by tomorrow. So anything that you have, please email to Ali. It's acsdliaison@fairfaxcountysepta.org. Email that as soon as you can.
Any other questions on the advocacy position statement? All right, then, seeing no questions, if somebody wants to make a motion to vote on it, I can't, I don't think.
I move
Yes,
we
Heather.
adopt
Was that Stephanie making the motion?
That's me. I move we adopt the advocacy position statement.
Who seconds?
I second. It's Rebecca.
Thank you. Is there any discussion from any members? If this is not just question, but if you have any opinions. If anybody has any thoughts to share on the advocacy position statement, now is your time to share them. Okay, seeing none, Kate, can we launch the poll for adopting that?
Launched.
Ah, yes, co-host.
Okay, 75% of people voted, so I'll close the poll. Motion, let me share. 20 people voted in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 abstained.
Excellent. The motion passes. Thank you, everybody. I know that that was a lot to get through in our meeting. Our meetings are not quite usually this business heavy, but we really appreciate your input and we are always wanting your input. So if you ever have any questions, please look at the final page of the agenda. All of those blue underlined names are links to our email addresses. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We are happy to help answer your questions and we really do need your input for this to work. We're a membership organization. So, and if you are here and you are not sure if you are a member or you would like to become a member so that you can vote in the future, please visit fcsepta.ptboard.com and come join us because we really want to make sure that we are representing a wide variety of thoughts and opinions across the county. So please make your voice heard with us. And with that, barring any other points of discussion from anyone on my board, seeing none, I'm going to adjourn our business meeting for now and turn it over to our special guest, Beth Felsen. We'll wrap up after her presentation with some upcoming events and such, but we are going to let Beth take the lead.